I was surprised in this regard. He had a great game against New England, 300-plus yards passing. Only one other time in his career has he had back-to-back 300-yard passing games, and that was the first 2 games of his career. So the first 2 games of his career, he goes to 300-plus. From then until now, he had never done it. So, yeah, that's surprising. You don't see that coming. I was not surprised about this. I thought this was one of 2 options for Cam. I thought he was going to be awesome, or I thought he was going to be terrible. Like, that's what I think the highs of last week with the win and then the lows with the embarrassing comments he made. I thought this was either going to be a vintage 2015 Cam Newton game, which is what we got, or a vintage 2016 Cam Newton game where he looks like not one of the 20 best quarterbacks in football. What I was most impressed with, though, CC, was the degree of difficulty on some of these throws to wide receivers that don't appear to be open. It's not like we saw them in New England, you brought it up, guys breaking wide open, coverage breakdowns. This Lions defense has been excellent. Yes. Since the start of 2016, only 12 times has an opponent scored 20 points on them.
Yes.
That's 3rd best in the league. Like, the defense had been really good. They did it with no running game. The Panthers had 28 carries for 28 yards. This was all, they had 11 penalties for 100 yards. They shot themselves in the foot. They couldn't run the football.
Cam only ran 7 times.
Right. But Cam was great. And when Cam plays like this might be the best team in the NFC.
There's 3 times, and I talk about it all the time. I've been knowing Cam since he was 17 years old. When he was recruited at University of Florida, decided to commit to them early, eventually ended up signing a scholarship with them. There's been a few times. During that workout, Cam was put under the pressure. Florida only had 1 scholarship offer. We told Cam before, told his dad before, Cam completely took over the workout. He showed out. Cam was involved in a controversy as far as did he get paid, or did someone in his family or someone around him, did he get any impermissible benefits when he was at Auburn? He was temporarily suspended, then reinstated. What did he go to do after that? He was down, I think, 21-7 at Alabama, brought the team back in Tuscaloosa, went on to win Heisman, win the national championship. After that, he decides to go to the pros. His workouts are awful. At the combine, he's awful. He can't throw. He's inconsistent. People started criticizing him. He was clearly the best player in college football. Clearly should be the first pick in the draft. But there was a lot of noise about him.
People were saying Blaine Gabbert should go ahead of him.
What does Cam do with that? He gets real focused. He starts his NFL career just like he did yesterday. So there's several times where I've seen Cam really respond to adversity. And this week, he had real adversity, and he responded with the type of focus that Brady, Breeze, Aaron Rodgers, like all these guys would do. And what he went through, I believe, made him focus more and concentrate on his craft. Because Cam, in this, he said, regardless of like what I say, there's still work and preparation to be done. And to me, Cam doesn't spend the amount of time or focus in preparation the way we've seen some of the other legendary quarterbacks do it. But in this game, because of what he went through, he was able to, on the back of the New England game, he was able to put it together. And it was all based on his fundamentals. Like his fundamentals, his feet, his reads. He wasn't forcing the ball. And he was far more accurate than we're used to him. So you have to give Cam credit after a very tough week, a week where he lost sponsors, lost fans, embarrassed himself. Cam came out and played better than I ever expected, because I haven't seen Cam throw the ball consistently down the field with that type of accuracy. So you have to give Cam credit for responding, not only with his message, because the message was on point, but more importantly, with his play, and now how he conducts himself moving forward would be even more important.
Nick, if there's one thing I learned just from listening to you talk about Cam over the last couple of weeks, is that he's most comfortable when he doesn't have to think so much, when he can go out and just be his natural athlete and do his thing. And what you're alluding to, which is exactly what happened this week, is there's been so much, you call it noise, and there's been so many questions that were not football related, that were pulling his attention in so many different places, that it almost felt like by the time he got on the field, there was no time to even prepare for this game football-wise, and it was more of a sense of, let me just go play football. Like, I didn't do the prep work. Or, my mental game isn't exactly where it's been the last couple of weeks, and it showed. He was a pocket passer yesterday, which is one thing he always gets knocked for. He stayed in there. He made the passes you were talking about. Right. He barely ran the ball at all. It looked almost, I don't want to say effortless, because a lot of those passes were really tough passes. But if there was a game where he looked like he was either having fun and with ease, I think it was this game yesterday.
And I think Chris's point is because of the controversy, he redoubled his efforts in the lead up to the game, which is something
internalized it.
Right, something the great quarterbacks do without controversy.
Yes,
like
they do it every week.
It's a fair knock on Cam that
Tom Brady is preparing this week as if he played, as if he had a bad press conference. We were talking about it yesterday. Tom Brady will be preparing as if every analyst said he was awful. Every analyst, like Nick Wright, said at 40 he's washed up. That's the way they prepare. Drew Brees does the same thing. Aaron Rodgers does. Cam doesn't have that, and that's what he's missing, and that's why his play over the last 3 years has been inconsistent.
I want to bring up one note. So our great guy, Dusty, brought me a sheet.
Dusty,
this right here is
guy.
the 7 best games of Cam's career from a passer rating perspective. And 2 of them are his last 2 games. The other 5, what they all have in common is they're blowouts. A 38-0 win over Atlanta, a 35-10 win against Minnesota, a 48-16 win over Tampa. So why is that important? It's important because not a lot of high-leverage throws at the end of games. So when Cam's been at his best, he hasn't had these critical moments late in games, right? Yesterday, they were up 17 late in the game. But then all of a sudden, they're up 3. Detroit has this propensity for these comebacks. They're up 3. Detroit's about to get the ball back. It's 3rd and 8. And I think we saw the most high-leverage throw of Cam's career, given all things considered, in games where he's playing great. Everything would have been lost if they don't convert this and they give up a touchdown to Detroit. Nobody cares what Cam did. It's 3rd and 8. Your number one option, look, that CC looks to me like not quite double coverage, but he's got a corner on him and then a linebacker sitting in his zone.
He puts it in the first hole. They were in zone coverage. They had trips to the field. He came back to a single receiver side. He does exactly what the book tells a quarterback to do, and he flights the ball where the guy can't get there in time.
Man, there was no question there. There was no delay.
No,
listen, should I run here? That way, if I don't get it, Detroit, they got to use a timeout. We take it to this play ended the game.
Yes.
After this, went to the 2-minute warning, 3 kneels. That play ended the game. And that was the type of precision, elite throw Cam has shown flashes of. To do it in that spot with the game on the line was as impressive as anything he did leading up to it.
No, he'll be more impressive if he just concentrates on his throwing instead of trying to do his press conference and trying to be funny.
Listen, I just want to say one thing before we go to break. I don't think Cam Newton deserves points for putting out the fire that he started.
Sure.
He played a great game of football yesterday. On the field, there is no doubt he played a great game.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from some of our other great shows on FS1.